Hi from Gabriele of Staticalmo, the statistical consulting service that aids your micro, small, medium company or organization to take more rigorous decisions. Today I want to show you a topic that deals with the political polemics, especially on what we know as Twitter. There you can find many voters or sympathizers for the Republican Party in the United States that say that the countries with a democratic governor have a higher average cost per square meter or foot for the houses because the Democratic Party can't govern well. As I said also in an episode of the podcast in Italian, thanks to statistics we can test sentences, hypotheses, opinions and so on. First of all, let's see this visually. Is it true that democratic states have higher average cost per square meter referring to a house? Let's see. Governor's party. Average cost. Now let's change the color. We put governors here and surprisingly he gets the colors right. Indeed, we see that Democrat states have a higher average house cost in terms of average cost per square meter or square foot, and if we add the count for each state that says the amount of states inside a category, we see they have more or less the same. So we can say that these two differences are significant. But in this case we just confirm that there is a significant difference between the average cost for these two parties. We don't know the why. For the why we need to do much work. This is something politicians in many cases don't do, no matter if blue or red or whatever. To start to investigate this, we have to go back to the data. For example, I added the population density. Of course, offer and demand, the more pressure from the population side, given a fixed supply of houses, of course the price of houses will increase. So let's do like a visual correlation between the two, average cost and population density. We put it as dimension and we see something of a linear relationship. You see, we explain 30% of the variability of the average cost, and indeed this is significant. So here we have one hint that significant difference doesn't depend on the party, but on something else. And just with this we explain 30%. Where I want to lead you, that after we collect more columns, for example the average the GDP per capita per state, or the Gini index, or the types of workers in the field, primary, secondary, tertiary, we might find that the party is completely not significant in determining the average cost of houses in states. And to do that we don't have to run simple correlations as that, as a first check before doing the actual model, but we have to do partial correlations. Because, for example, the population density has an effect on the amount of workers in the primary sector, that means agriculture, forestry and so on. So most likely what Republican says about the Democrats in regards of this topic, that means housing, is false, because there are other variables that explain this difference. And if you dig deeper you will understand that politics has very little influence on a lot of economic data. And this is something again that all politicians will never say to you. Politicians have, especially in the last years, have an effect in the regards of some rights. And in the United States you are also lucky because you have more data culture. I remember many years ago an article from the New York Times that showed every president of the United States, the GDP and the possible impact of the president on the GDP. Basically, most of them were not significant, and who was significant? It was just because it was a spurious association, maybe because the president got lucky and got in a specific boom phase or a recession phase. For example, Trump is significant just because he got the COVID phase, where basically every country in the world experimented a recession. The serious professional would highlight this situation. Who wants to do politics? So in most cases, information in bad faith will say, look at Trump, that bad guy that brought us into recession. No, the international context was the same for everybody else except maybe China. But I want you to understand that with statistics, you can become very easily apolitical, because you can literally check whatever political statement you can find out there. Why this video? How does it link to companies that possibly want to grow? For example, you have a very strong opinion, maybe based on intuition, that was right in 1 year, but not necessarily in the present or in the future. If you want to check the strength of those opinions with statistics, you know that with Static Almo we can do that. Of course, this requires a mindset of data-driven decisions. Otherwise, first, I find unlikely that you'll want to call me. Second, if you call me and I tear in pieces your strong opinion and then you don't act upon it, you waste money. So think carefully. I want to underline, as a conclusion, that you live in the United States and you are more lucky than other countries because you have more fact check about politics than, for example, Italy. In Italy you have much less of this, also because journalists get paid a misery, so then they don't have reasons to go so through as you go. That's all for now. Bye and see you the next time.